I do not need this microphone, but I'll take it anyway. So I graduated from Myrtle Point High School, and I grew up in a commercial fishing family. But my story actually takes place in an ocean far, far away in the country of Thailand, because sometimes to learn and understand about home, you got to get very, very far away from it. So it was December 26, 2004. I was on the island of Koh Jam in the Andaman Sea. And I'd gone there because it had the reputation of being the least developed island in that region. And that was exactly what I was looking for. Off the beaten path, away from the tourist hordes, basic living, getting to know the locals. And on this island, there was only internet at that time in one location, a small bamboo hut internet cafe on the north side, and I was staying on the south. And this was about an hour by rickety old rented motorbike that I'd rented on this old dirt road to get there. And it was about 10 a.m., and I got done with the internet thing, doing the email thing, and I get out, and I am just blown away by how beautiful the day is. The sea is just perfect. The sky is perfect. It's just amazing. And growing up fishing, I kind of want to check out these local fishing boats that are nearby. They're so colorful, they're so beautiful. So I know noticed a group of locals. It's off in this distance, overlooking the shoreline, just a little bit above it. They're kind of hanging out and kind of looking and pointing and stuff. So start the motorbike after several tries, get out there, hang out with them, and I'm going to leave it running because this thing is just, it is so hard to get started again. And I look out there, and I notice out in this beautiful sea, it just looks like a ship's wake, and it goes from horizon to horizon. It's just absolutely perfect. And it's just this beautiful kind of shining, glittering wave. And I think, wow, you know what they're probably talking about is this big super tanker or something came by, and it's just not something you see every day, left this wake, and they're just chatting away. And then I remember looking down into the shoreline, and it's just really low tide. And I'm not from that area, so I don't think anything of it. And there's these local Muslim women from the villages, and they're out in the rocks, and they're really excited, and they're picking up shellfish as they do locally. I'm kind of checking it out. And then I look up again, and that wave's really close. And I'm not really thinking anything of it because it's hard to kind of get the gauge of speed of things when they're heading right for you. And then time just kind of slows in this second. And this wave just comes up. And it starts to rise. And it starts to rise. And then it starts to crest. And it's not normal. And it's black. And there's chunks of things in it, which I would later on learn are chunks of coral, about almost the size of cars. And it's ripping up the entire seafloor, and it's coming right up there. And then I look down, and I see one of those women in that second, and she's running as fast as she can for her life. And you have these weird thoughts in these moments. You're like, wow, she really can move, you know? And then it just comes, boom. It swallows her, and it hits the shore, and the entire ground shakes. And it's just not natural. And I instinctively had that bike still running. I turn around, I full throttle it, and I head on this road directly inland, and I never look back. Now I have this hour-long ride back down to where I'm staying, and all I'm thinking about are my friends, the local people I've gotten to know, what is going on. Zillion thoughts are going through my head. What the heck is... I remember thinking, like literally, is there like a nuclear war starting? Was there a volcano explosion? Was that a tsunami? And these things are going and going and going. And I remember looking up into the sky, and it's cloudy and it's cold, and there's this weird wind, and it's kind of like a coin flip. So on one side is this beautiful tropical paradise, and the other side is different. It just happens in an instant. Well, I finally, through this crazy ride, I get back, and the village on the south side, it's down this little slope, and I'll never forget, I come down through that slope, and I look into the village of Koh Jam, and there's a mob of people going crazy, heading up towards me. And then I look beyond it into the water that's always just so beautiful, and it's black, and it's crazy, and there's foam in it, and it's just moving at an unnatural speed, and then it hits me. It's like, this has got to be a tsunami. And what I don't know either at the time is that was in the age of the very simple Nokia phone, and almost everybody had one around there. I didn't, but cell service is totally knocked out. There's no communications. All there are is our thoughts and what we're seeing in front of us. And now, whenever you see a mob of people running towards you, you just don't go into it, no matter the situation. And now to get to the resort where I'm staying is this little side kind of walking path that we would take motorbikes on too, and I just head off that way towards that. And maybe it's about a 5-minute ride. And I get about halfway there, and then I see everybody from the basic bamboo bungalow resort place I was staying running up towards me in a crowd, screaming, crying, flipping out. And it's starting to sink in what's going on. And they're carrying somebody in the center of this crowd, and it's a young boy, and he's covered in blood. He's injured. His eyes have rolled back in his head. He's in shock. And they just kind of yell at me and in this madness, and they throw him on the back of the bike. His sister gets on there too. Just go, and we go to the only health clinic on the entire island that has a single nurse. And we get there, and so many things happen that day. But at the same time, everybody, the people from our bungalow, the people from the village, they're all running for their lives up this hill. And there's not a lot of hills on this island, and the tallest one is only like maybe 300 feet, and it's all jungle. There's nothing in it, and they're just running up there through the snakes, through the spiders, through the ants, just going up there. We kind of all mingled at that point, and then they start telling me about the second wave. And what I learned that day is a tsunami is not a single wave. It's a series of waves that it can occur all day. And what I didn't see, I saw the first one, but the second one was even bigger. And this caused the most tragedies. Because at that point, people thought the disaster was over. So they're down at the beach. The locals are getting their boats, their different things. They're trying to save it from the shoreline. And out of nowhere, boom, again. And that is what had injured the boy. He was smashed by a fishing boat. So, no communications, no nothing. We're living on this hill. We don't know how long. So a few of us are talking. We need supplies. We need water. We need food. We need mosquito netting. We need something just to lay down on. So a few of us decide, let's go back to the bungalow resort and let's just grab what we can and get it back here. I got this crummy old motorbike. Thank God I had a full tank of gas in it. And I think somebody gets on the back and we go down there. And I finally see the bungalow resort, and about 3/4 of it is just completely destroyed. Ironically, not where I was staying, but the restaurant is completely destroyed. There's water coming in and surging out. I'm not really thinking about it. We go into there, grab what we can. I remember grabbing a case of water that's floating by. And in that moment, there's an image I'll never forget. I look out into the waters, and I see a house, perfectly intact, float by, going about 10 miles an hour. And I think I say something silly to the guy next to me. It's like, because you're just trying to process this all. It's like, there's something you do not see every day. And I tell you, when you see a house float perfectly by in the ocean, you know something is very, very wrong. And this is not a normal day. So through that day, we get supplies up to the hill. I helped. There was a French lady that had gotten really injured as well. A few of us guys, we got her to that clinic. People were being airlifted. And I remember in that whole time of getting stuff, my one German friend is like, make sure to get the beer. And, well, okay, I'm not going to lie, I did. Because you think you're going to feel this way in these instances, but you're still, in my case, your old strange self, you know, and you have your needs. You want to create weird humor at times. You're just trying to get through this whole moment, and nothing is sinking in. So we end up spending the night up on the hill. I mean, I'm exhausted, but we don't sleep. We're trying to figure out what's going on. Monkeys come, take almost all of our food. I mean, they got to live too, you know. And then in the morning, we find out that there's actually one phone operating on the entire island, and it's nearby. And I remember thinking, man, you know, I should really like get a hold of my parents because this might have made the news. You know, I mean, they might have heard about this. So I go down to this little house where they have this phone. Finally I'm able to use it and make a call. I can barely get through. It's an old dial phone. I get through and I hear my mom pick it up. And because I'm worried about the connection, I just say, hey, I'm just letting you, I'm okay. And it's one of those connections you got to repeat. And I'll never forget her. She's just crying, absolutely crying. I can hear my dad crying. I hear other people at the house. And I'm like, oh, wow, it really did make the news. Glad I called. So that day, the one thing that really saved us is this happened during the daylight, and everybody was outside. Everybody saw the wave. People could escape. A lot of the boats were out into the water. They didn't get destroyed, but of course the boats in towards the shoreline were lost forever. So there's all these speedboats, different things coming to the island. They started evacuating people. And there's a handful of us non-locals, and we're like, you know, I'm not going anywhere. Like, we've made friends with the people. We care about these people. We can't leave them. We want to help. There's not much you can do. I was working as an English teacher in Japan at the time. I thought, they won't care. I'll just finally communicate with them and just say, hey, I'm stuck. I can't come back. So I stay there, I forget what it was, 3 or 4 weeks. I stay at that bungalow resort. I try to do what I can, help clean up. The devastation is just massive. And the other people are coming in, and you're hearing these stories, and the reality is starting to sink in. I remember that next day, there was an Italian father. He comes running around. He's running up and down the beach, screaming. He's lost his wife. He's lost his children. I did hear, though, eventually did find them. So, in that case of staying there, the lady who owned the resort, she would try to go to the mainland and bring back supplies. And I said, gave her some money. I says, hey, can you bring back an English newspaper so we can start finding out what's going on here? I remember that paper comes back on that first day, and it's the Bangkok Post. Headline news, tsunami. Possibly up to 1,500 people dead. And I think, wow, 1,500? That's crazy. Well, each day or every 2 days, she brings another paper, and that number goes up, and it goes up, and it goes up. It goes up all the way to 250,000 people. The combined populations of basically Eugene and Springfield, gone, just like that. And you're wondering, why not me? Why was I lucky? All the local people I would meet through that course of time, everybody lost someone close to them. Their bodies were never recovered, and that was the hard part, because you always hold out hope that maybe they'll just show up. Maybe they got swept out to sea. Maybe they got picked up by a fishing boat. They were never found. I met a woman, she lost 7 children. And her husband. It's still hard to think about that. So, disasters are something we always talk about in the news. We hear the word tsunami here all the time. And you learn through this experience that, unfortunately, disasters are just kind of like the price of existence. They happen. It's not a matter of if, it's when. But there's no way I'll live my life scared of it or be in fear of it. Life is too precious. Everybody's life is precious. And what I learned about home is about a community, and a community is about people helping each other. Strangers, people with differences that is so superficial will fight over and argue over, and these things absolutely do not matter. What matters are the people next to you, the people that are willing to give a helping hand, give you a bottle of water, give you some food, but more importantly, give you their heart and hear their story. So if that disaster comes, I pray it doesn't, but if it does, we can get through with it as a strong community. But we'll get through it because we're going to get through it not alone, but together. Thank you.